You're listening to the AI Moment, the podcast that covers AI for business executives in bite-sized pieces. I'm your host, Jonathan Wagstaff, and my co-host, Danny Denhard, is with me. And Dan, this week we're going to be looking at how we use AI in marketing in a little more depth. Is that right?
That's right. Do you want me to dive in? I've got quite a few to go through to help people understand and maybe inspire people today.
Great stuff. Yeah, go ahead, please.
If I was to start at the top, at the state of the market or state of marketing, there's a huge amount of automation. So at the moment, there's a lot of discussion within the AI community, whether it's AI or automation. At the moment, the two worlds are merging together. So there's a lot of automation happening with AI tools at the center of it. Most tools have actually added on AI features and they're now charging you tokens. So if you've got a request for some tools and they seem expensive, it's typically based onto token usage. And then many teams are tackling it in individual ways as opposed to collectively. But with all of that said, I'll dive into what teams are doing with AI and maybe some inspirational points for you. So the first thing that a lot of people do, and I'll hold my hands up, I do this a lot for the podcast and the support and newsletter, is people are using AI tools to take one piece of content and create 4 to 5 to 6 different pieces of content. And they're all different pieces, all designed for different channels. So the examples would be, for this podcast, we record it in video, we push it out in audio, we then use a tool to create social clips, and they'll create a number of social videos. It also creates a highlight reel if you wanted to. And then I turn it into the show notes and the supporting newsletter, and I act as the editor to go into that. So that's one thing that a lot of businesses is doing. There's a huge business that's happening at the moment, and it's called clipping, which is essentially where people go off, they take existing content and they clip it into under 60-second videos. So that's something that's happening a lot. And you'll probably notice that if you scroll LinkedIn, you'll scroll Instagram, or you scroll TikTok, and people are being paid to clip and promote these short form videos. That's also happening in audio as well. So people are turning existing content into multiple pieces of content. The other way that I like to say, especially in the workshops and the enablement pieces, is for internal content and comms, people create presentations, audio, video, and study guides all through one tool. So you can use multiple different tools, but essentially what you can do is you can take existing content. If you're not very good at creating presentations, but you're good at writing, you can take a Google Doc or a Word doc, and you can put that into Claude, ChatGPT, Microsoft or Gamma.app, and it will create a dedicated presentation. You choose a number of slides and it will summarize and create on the fly a presentation for you. And what a lot of people are doing is then turn it into audio or a newsletter or a video, short form video, and they're using Notepad for this. So these are really simple ways of doing that. Do you want to jump in on any of this, Jonathan, or should I carry on?
Yeah, no, that's good. You carry on, Dan. I think what we're talking about at the moment is how we use and reuse content, don't we? And how we get a lot more efficiency out of our content production. So yeah, crack on.
So there's a number of different companies that are now using RSS. So that's really simple syndication. So it's an old school way of updating the web, and they're turning other people's content into newsletter content. What they're doing is they're using tools like Zapier or some of the automation tools. They're putting it into Claude or ChatGPT, and then they're creating businesses off the back of it, because what they're doing is curating the content, pumping it in, reading it, just editing it slightly, and then using it as a daily update. So there's a huge amount of this happening. So one of your competitors might have come out of a new newsletter recently, and I'm pretty confident they're probably using this as a use case. As we've talked around a number of times before, a number of marketers are also using AI to be the stress tester. They're talking it through. They're using natural language on the apps. They're walking through and they're talking through their plan or their strategy or how they're going to optimize some ads. And then what the AI is going to do is be your co-pilot and come back and your assistant and make recommendations for you. And that's something that I get told around a lot through people I coach, but also through some of the groups I'm in. This comes up a lot of the time. I'll go for a quick fire use case. So a lot of the time people use AI to do query optimization. So if people put in things into your internal search, then what people are doing is they're using AI to then create loads of landing pages or add that into some of their newsletters or their customer support tickets and solutions. So that's a really quick, simple way of using AI to do that. That's one really good use case. There's a load of others. So Coca-Cola for their 2024 Christmas ad, they used completely AI imagery and videos to create their Christmas ad. It got a lot of backlash, but it's going to be commonplace this year. For 100% it's going to be commonplace. People are using it for TV ads. They're using it to create launches for their products, where they're using it to improve their ads and add copy and quality and quantity. Meta's guarantee to the users are to improve their ads and add copy and do a number of different variation tests for you. So there's all these different things that you can use and people like you are probably using. There's a couple of out-of-the-box ideas I just want to dive into to help you. Is if you've always wanted a company mascot, or you want an avatar, so an electronic version of you, a computerized version of you, these are the perfect use cases that other marketing leaders and departments are using. You can use it for audio or auto analysis, so you can pull your data in. It can do audio analysis for you, so you don't have to go out to a third-party team to do it. It's improving CS. We've spoken about this on the previous pod. And one of the best use cases I've heard recently is have it as an AI EA or a PA. And essentially what you do is you use a service like Lindy. You have an assistant, you copy them into the emails, and then what it does, it goes off and organizes the meeting. You can also do it so it can book spaces and meeting rooms, and it's all for really low cost. Teams are doing this internally to organize their team meetings, or they're doing it to actually get time in with the leaders of the company. And that's all through natural language and an interface and email. So these are all wonderful use cases that people can use and jump on themselves.
Yeah, but there's lots and lots of stuff there, Dan. I mean, I think for me, well, a lot of marketers that I talk to are doing lots of great content creation, but they've not really moved much outside content creation. So a lot of things that you talk about, I think will be very useful for them to move that forward. A couple of things in the time we've got, a couple of things as well. That I think it's a really good customer point of view exercise you can do with AI. So using your favorite model, you can say to it, you're the customer, you are this person, maybe you're a 27-year-old person like this, living in London, and this is what you like, and this is what you don't like. And you're browsing our website, or you're browsing a competitor website. What are the things that concern you? What do you care about? What are your frustration? How will you make your choice between brands? You can kind of set it up to give you the voice of customer to an extent. And that's quite an interesting part of things to do. I've seen people use that kind of thing. Go and look at our website and tell me the 10 questions that occur to you, or, that kind of thing. So it's great. It's great customer point of view stuff you can do. And then the other one very briefly is you can do campaign hacking with it. So you can say, if you're a brand manager for my business, go and create a campaign brief for this concept, include the campaign goal, include who's the target audience, what's the key message, what's the sample headline, what's the tone of voice, do me a rollout plan for another channels. You can do some quite advanced campaign suggestion stuff. So it's a great co-worker in that respect. So they're just a couple that spring to mind beyond what you said, but there's a very comprehensive list you gave us there, Dan. So thank you.
No worries. Should we try and wrap up and give that a 30-second wrap up for the listeners?
Yeah, go for it.
So people are using AI to turn one piece of content into 4, 5, or 6 different variations. People are using it internally to create presentations, audio, videos, and automating a number of different things that are hard to scale. It's now scalable. Turning other people's content into newsletter content, stress testing ads and ideas, using AI to do a lot of the analysis to create product launches, things I didn't dive into, but to score leads and lead generation, to create video ads, to do thumbnail testing on YouTube, create mascots and avatars, improve customer support times, and have AI EAs and PAs alongside customer analysis, as Jonathan said, and content scaling is prime use case right now. Thanks for listening today, everyone. You can check out our show notes. We have all the links, anything that we've talked around, and our contact details. If you check out our supported newsletter at aimoment.co.uk, You'll get a full rundown and a slight extension to the pod, and it will land in your inboxes the Monday and Friday. If you remember to hit follow and subscribe, we'll see you every week. And Jonathan and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening.